We were driving home from vacation a few weeks ago, and we were coming back, and it was, it's winter time, and so it gets dark really early. And so the last leg of our trip was in the dark, and we were following a couple of semi-tractor trailer trucks, and they were in front of us, and it's a 2-lane road. You kind of want to pass them, but I wasn't really confident because of the weather and the road conditions. And I noticed that the truck that was leading suddenly turned on his flashers. He had his hazard lights on. And so the truck in front of me slowed down, kind of backed off the guy in front of him, and he turns on his hazard lights. And I'm thinking, what was up ahead that made that first truck want to turn his lights on? And so when I got a little closer, we saw that there were 2 other semi-tractor trailer trucks that had slid off the road in front of us, and an SUV that had slidden off as well. And so those 2 trucks in front of me safely made it through the area, and now it's my turn. So I slide, my anti-lock brakes engage, the tires have no traction, but we made it safely through the area. And it was a very scary experience, and we talked about it for many more miles down the road. And I thought, if I would have gotten in a hurry, and if I would have passed those 2 semis in front of me, I very well could have been the 4th car in the ditch that night. If it weren't for that leading semi that had wisdom and discernment about what was up ahead and warning those of us behind him, we could have all been in trouble. And isn't that like the Holy Spirit? God goes before us. He knows the conditions of what lies ahead, and he warns us to slow down, to be careful because of dangerous situations. And when we're not listening to those warnings, we may end up in the ditch and find our faith and our walk with the Lord has been derailed. But it also reminds us that there are people who go before us, and they signal back to us that we need to be careful. Maybe they've driven this path before. Maybe they've been down the road that we're on, and it would be wise to listen to them. But then there's also a third lesson to see here, and that is that we may be going through life and see people who have backslidden and gone in the ditch, and when we come upon them, it's very easy to look at them with judgment and considering, what they do wrong. But without another thought, that could just as well be us. And it's easy to judge and to think something's not right, but they were the first one down this road perhaps, and it's not their fault. Maybe they were a victim to the conditions, right? And so it would be our job to stop along the way and to help them. Isn't life full of lessons if we would just be quiet long enough to listen? Stay safe. Listen to the Lord and heed his warnings. Obey him in whatever he calls you to do.